bumping into him, and he seemed to be not a flash in the pan. He really, truly wanted to make a difference. And as things ratcheted up on the gun control, you know, this really got his attention. He said, I got to get involved. This cannot continue. And he's now the tip of the spear for mass gun rights here in Massachusetts. That is a no compromise gun group. And that gentleman is Mr. Christopher Pinto. Where is Chris?
Dave told me to watch his 6 today, so I was watching it. Thank you, Dave. It's an honor to be here. Dave wants me to come and talk about Massachusetts gun rights. I don't really feel that's an appropriate thing to do. Rich and I had a couple of scotches, a cigar, and some good food on my deck last weekend, and we talked about what's going on in America and what should be talked about. And I'm not here to promote Massachusetts gun rights, though my treasurer and my board would be upset if I didn't mention it to you. So let me dispense with that right now. Mass Gun Rights is a no-compromise gun rights group. We are built to create activists that can go out and fight back against the anti-gun orthodoxy that's here in Massachusetts. We're at massgunrights.com. If you want to send an email to your representatives about Maura Healey, go to stopmaurahealey.org and put in your email address, your address. It looks up your state rep and sends an email to your state rep about Maura Healey's overreach. She's also attacking law enforcement. She's not giving them their LEOSA credentials, which is just a card to say that they served as a law enforcement or Department of Corrections without getting, thrown out of the job for misconduct. And that card allows them to protect themselves in 50 states around the country. And there's also leosarights.com. You can write to your state rep about that too. She's anti-cop, she's anti-gun, and she needs to be stopped. And we can only stop her if we grow our numbers. So please visit the website and sign up if you can. Everything that you guys do, I feel blessed. I had a guy send me one day a $10 bill with a little note in an envelope, and it said, Chris, I can't afford much. I live paycheck to paycheck when I actually get a paycheck. He says, I never donate to anybody, but this cause is one of the most important causes out there. So I'm sending you $10. And I look at that and I make sure that whenever we spend money on anything, we spend it very wisely. If we need a website plug-in, we make sure we find a coupon for it and stuff like that. We don't have a lot of money, but we've won political battles in this state when we've been outspent 30-1. The gas tax ballot question, which I worked on. $3 million was spent against us, and we raised about $90,000, and we beat them at the ballot. So don't let anyone tell you that the gun owners can't win these battles. If we all make our voices heard, we can win these battles. So Rich and I discussed what I should talk a little bit about, and I'm going to try to go through this quickly because we want to hear Larry speak. And we want to hear the sheriff speak as well. Giving a little bit on what Rich and Tom were talking about. During the Civil War, there were two very important figures that fought. One of them he's already mentioned was Joseph Warren. Joseph Warren lost his life on Bunker Hill, at the Battle of Bunker Hill today, many years ago, 1775. Let me tell you a little bit more about the man. He was a physician. He did the autopsy on the first victim of the Revolutionary War, an 11-year-old boy named Christopher Siding. I think that's how you say his name, right, Rich? There was a protest outside a customs agent's home in the North End. A group of people gathered outside this custom agent's home, and they were protesting taxes that were being put on one of the shop owners in the North End of Boston. He came out and he was upset that people were protesting in front of his home, and he took out a pistol and shot it in the direction of the crowd and killed an 11-year-old boy. Mr. Warren did the autopsy on that boy, and he started giving speeches later on about what happened at the Boston Massacre. A few days before the Bunker Hill battle, on the 14th, he was made a major general. And he showed up to the Battle of Bunker Hill, and he reported, and he told them that he wanted to be a private. Present there was Colonel Prescott, Colonel William Prescott, and I forget who the other general was. They both felt that he was more experienced, and they had asked him to be the commander of this battle, and he refused. He reported as a private. He went out and fought in that battle until he was killed at the very end when they ran out of ammunition. Some interesting things he said. A few days before, in a skirmish, what was the skirmish that he got his hat pin shot off in? Lexington and Concord, yeah, the Battle Green. He had his hat pin shot off, nearly shot in the head. And when he spoke to his mother about it, she asked him to not go into battle again. She didn't want him fighting. She thought he should be in the back lines commanding. And he said to his mother, "Where danger is, dear mother," he answered, "there must be your son. Now is no time for any American children to shrink from any hazard. I will set her free or die." Now, there's a lot to say about both these men, but the most important thing that Rich and I thought that we needed to explain to them, to you folks, is this battle was not about just taxes. A lot of people remember, oh, they started a war over a 3% tea tax. No, it was much more than that. They wanted self-governance. In protest, they had shut down all the British-run courts throughout Massachusetts, all except for the county of Suffolk. And they shut them down to stop the British rule. If the British courts couldn't run, how could they fine anybody for anything? And the other thing that really sparked this battle was they were coming for our guns. They were coming for the powder, and that's what set everything off. But the fact that they were willing to fight was not enough. The fact that they laid down their lives, their fortunes, they put their families aside, was not enough. These two men understood that if you were not, as we say, well-regulated, which our Attorney General thinks means getting to determine who gets to practice their rights and with what weapons. No, well-regulated meant well-practiced. If these two men didn't understand that and didn't train their troops the way that they had, very disciplined, we would have lost. We wouldn't have an America today. So I know this might sound a little shocking to some when you hear it read everywhere. Where did those reporters go? Come back and listen to this, please. This is a small list. And I printed out this list 2 days ago, and there's been 2 more incidents since then. Tim Kaine, remember him? He ran for vice president. Asked for blood in the streets. Loretta Lynch wanted bloodshed and violence against Republicans. Obama asked for his supporters to rise up. CNN announced who would take over the government if all elected Republicans were killed during Trump's inauguration. Obama asked, CNN asked that. A New York play showed the killing of Donald Trump. Snoop Dogg kills Trump in a video. Kathy Griffin decapitates Trump in a photo shoot. Madonna said, "I've thought a lot about blowing up the White House." I don't know, I'm getting a little sick reading this, I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I'm getting ill to my stomach reading this. Robert De Niro, I'd like to punch him, meaning Trump, in the face. Avengers director Joss Whedon, never even heard of him. I want a rhino to F. Paul Ryan to death. The creator of The Wire, David Simon, never watched it, don't know who he is. Pick up a goddamn brick if Trump fires Robert Mueller. The wrestler actor Mickey Rourke threatens to beat Trump with a baseball bat. He can suck my effing. Actress Leah Delaria, I don't know who she is, threatens to take out Republicans and independents with a baseball bat after Trump wins. Rapper YG, never heard of him either, threatens Trump with F Donald Trump song. Marilyn Manson kills Trump in a music video. Rapper Everlast warns Trump, I will punch you in your bleeping face. Larry Wilmore jokes about suffocating Trump with pillow they used to kill Scalia. Stephen Colbert at Lake Show put Stephen Miller's head on a spike. Sarah Silverman, another washed up one, suggests military could help overthrow Trump. Kathy Griffin promised to beat up Barron Trump. Juan Thompson threatened to blow up a JCC. I guess because Trump's children are Jewish. The Portland killer Jeremy Christian, a Bernie voter, killed 2. Bad apples or a rotten tree. Now, 2 more incidents have happened since I printed this list out from 2 days ago. Okay? We had them targeting Republican congressmen on a baseball field. A Bernie supporter. And then just yesterday, a pickup truck flying a Make America Great Again flag was shot at. So, I implore you all, my friends, and I hope that my prediction is wrong, that it's only going to get worse in America. The left is totally unhinged. It is not enough to ask your police chiefs for permission to have a gun. It is not enough to go and buy a gun. You must become proficient with it. Because if you are to defend your lives, you need to be able to shoot back accurately. And I ask you all to please do that for yourselves, not for mass gun rights, not for me. This is for us. And I want to end with something that got me involved in politics about 9-10 years ago. It really sums up the truth about guns. Right? And I forgot to print it out, so I'm just going to read it off my phone if you don't mind. It was written by a gentleman named Marco Cluse. 10 years ago he wrote this, before this got all crazy here. And he wrote it on a blog called the Munchkin Ragnar. So I imagine that Marco Cluse had young children at home when he wrote this. It is called Why the Gun is Civilization. And it deeply affected me when I've read it. And it got me involved in protecting our Second Amendment rights by getting involved in Republican politics here in Mass. I thought the Republicans in Mass would defend our gun rights. Boy, was I naive when I first got involved in politics. They won't defend your rights here in Massachusetts unless you demand it, unless you insist upon it, which is why you must get involved. It goes like this. Human beings only have 2 ways to deal with one another. Reason and force. If you want me to do something for you, you have a choice of either convincing me via argument or force me to do your bidding under the threat of force. Every human interaction falls into one of those 2 categories without exception. Reason or force. That's it. In a truly moral and civilized society, people exclusively interact through persuasion. Force has no place as a valid method of social interaction. And the only thing that removes force from the menu is the personal firearm. As paradoxical as it may sound to some, and it probably does to brainwashed liberals who think guns are bad and icky, and guns create violence. They don't create violence. People create violence. When I carry a gun, you cannot deal with me by force. You have to use reason and try to persuade me, because I have a way to negate your threat or employment of force. The gun is the only personal weapon that puts a 100-pound woman on equal footing with a 220-pound mugger. A 75-year-old retiree on equal footing with a 19-year-old gangbanger. And a single gay guy on equal footing with a carload of drunk guys with baseball bats. I want you to know, those people that were shot in Orlando, if you Google for Omar Martin transcript. The unredacted transcript was released 5 months after that shooting. That shooter was motivated by Obama's drone bombing in neighborhoods in Syria, in Iraq. Those people were not shot because they were gay. They were shot because they were Americans. And that makes it even more wrong. Yet, Maura Healey has used that shooting to take our rights away. And that's again, is very wrong. So there are plenty of people who consider the gun as the source of bad force equations. These are the people who think that we'd be more civilized if all guns were removed from society. Because a firearm makes it easier for a mugger to do his job. That, of course, is only true if the mugger's potential victims are mostly disarmed, either by choice or by legislative fiat. It has no validity when most of a mugger's potential marks are armed. People who argue for the banning of arms ask for automatic rule by the young, the strong, and the many. And that's the exact opposite of a civilized society, where the state has granted him a force monopoly. Oh, I'm sorry, a mugger, even an armed one, can only make a successful living in a society where the state has granted him a force monopoly. That's right. Then there's the argument that the gun makes confrontations lethal, that otherwise would only result in injury. This argument is fallacious in several ways. Without guns involved, confrontations are won by the physically superior party inflicting overwhelming injury on the loser. People who think that fists, bats, sticks, or stones don't constitute lethal force watch too much TV, where people take beatings and come out of it with a bloody lip at worst. The fact that the gun makes lethal force easier works solely in the favor of the weaker defender, not the stronger attacker. If both are armed, the field is level. The gun is the only weapon that's as lethal in the hands of an octogenarian as it is in the hands of a weightlifter. It simply wouldn't work as well as a force equalizer if it wasn't both lethal and easily employable. When I carry a gun, I don't do so because I am looking for a fight, but because I am looking to be left alone. The gun at my side means that I cannot be forced, only persuaded. I don't carry it because I'm afraid, but because it enables me to be unafraid. It doesn't limit the action of those who would interact with me through reason, only the actions of those who would do so by force. It removes force from the equation, and that's why carrying a gun is a civilized act. And that's all Marco Close has to say. And just one more thing I want to say to you. Here's Dave. We need Dave back up here. Anyone who's for gun control has decided that they want someone else to be responsible for their safety. If you're for gun control, you're saying, I am not going to protect myself. It'll be someone else's responsibility. It's an irresponsible act, and I hope that everybody hones your skills, and I pray that the left doesn't get any more unhinged than they already are. Because it's going to get ugly in America if they do. Thank you.